Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. We got a lot to cover on the program. There's been some big things that have happened today since the morning show that I want to cover. And I want to start talking about this primary victory of Abdul. And I know it was a close primary, but it doesn't matter. He still won, right? It was a three-way primary, and if the third person wasn't in there, maybe the other Democrat would have won. The Democrat Party spent $65 million on this race, and they failed. The Democrat Party was trying to say, can you imagine? It may be the most expensive Democrat Senate race in history. They were trying desperately to stop Abdul, spent $65 million. And they lost. And the Democrat Party, as we know it and have known it, is done. But what does it mean for the future of the whole country? You know, the Democrat Party, they have a lot of problems. When is the last time the Democrat Party had a strong leader in it? Can you think of it? It's been a long time, hasn't it? And right now, they are a leaderless political party. A leaderless political party. There's no one in charge. And literally, the inmates are running the asylum. And the Democrat Socialist, I know this will sound crazy to a lot of you, but if you think about it, if you think this sounds crazy, if you think about it, I think you'll agree with this. The Democrat Socialist of America, which we understand is a communist organization. They're not socialist, they're communist. The Democrat Socialist of America are communist, make no mistake about it. But they have said that their purpose is to take over the Democrat Party. Instead of starting their own third party, which is next to impossible, they see how weak the Democrats are without a leader right now, and they're making their move through the Democrat Party. And they're having some success. We'll know in November how much. Okay? But they're done, the Democrat Party, because you can tell that the Democrat establishment people, the ones that hold office, James Carville can lay in his bed and do Zoom interviews on CNN all the time, and he can rant and rave about this and that. But the Democrats that hold office, members of the House, Schumer, who's one of the, I think is Schumer probably the highest ranking Democrat in the government right now, they're terrified of the Democratic Socialists. They're terrified of them. They won't criticize them. They'll sometimes say they disagree with them on all these big issues, but then we're a big tent, That's their talking point. The Democrat Party's a big tent. We've got a big tent. We're a big tent. They say that a lot. And they are terrified. I wonder what they're terrified of. They're pretty scared, and I've seen it in their faces when they're on television. But because they have no leader, the Democrat Party, the Democrat Socialist of America, are easily able to go in and take over. And these people they have, like Abdul, really are weak. They are incredibly flawed. Like Abdul, they call him a doctor. He did something very weird to me, and maybe you could explain this to me, but he did graduate medical school, but he never got a license to practice medicine. Are you a doctor if you don't have the license? I've heard of lawyers, people have gone to law school and then they don't take the bar exam. I've known a few people in my time. They've gone to law school, completed law school, graduated law school, but they never got their law license. And you know why? Because they couldn't pass the bar. So they go around and tell everybody for the rest of their life that they never wanted to practice law, that they wanted this different path. That's a bunch of nonsense. I've never known someone who went all the way through medical school, which is very intense, and didn't go on to get the medical license. It's a very strange thing. It's a very strange thing. And it's not something he's proud of or bragged about, because he was passing himself off as a doctor, and it came up during the campaign. But anyway, back to this. So the Democrat Party is so weakened right now. This is the weakest the Democrat Party has ever been, and it's weak for a number of reasons. And they're a leaderless movement because they didn't set themselves up with that. They plugged in Biden, and then they plugged in Kamala, and they just haven't had a leader in a long time. The last leader they really had, I know you might say Pelosi. Schumer used to be a tough guy, but maybe not since Obama left office have they had a leader. I think you might be able to say that. And, he's and as crazy as this is, the last time the Democrat Party had a strong national leader was Obama, right? But Obama is the one that's behind the Democrat Socialist of America. He's the one that brought I don't know how many, hundreds of thousands, millions of Muslims into the country. He's the one. He is a communist himself, an anti-colonialist communist. This is what he was his entire life. He cleaned up his act and tried to pass himself off as more reasonable when he became president and all that. But he's just like Abdul and all the rest, right? And Mamdani. Obama's just like them when it comes to their positions, and he is behind them today. Make no mistake about it. And the only Democrat out there that's speaking up that has even the slightest semblance of being reasonable is one that's getting ready to leave the Democrat Party, or at least he keeps talking about it. I'm talking about Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania. So this is really bad news. Now, this was just a primary. The only thing that's happened is some Democrats beat some Democrats. And come November, the Democrat Socialist may see a lot of defeats, including Abdul. But some of these Democrat Socialists are going to win because they're running in unopposed districts like these idiots that won in New York City. So some of them are going to win. Make no mistake about it. But the Democrat Party will never be the same. And what this is, and it started with Bernie under the radar and then AOC and the squad, but the Democrat Socialist, it's not even a debate, are communists. We know this. They are communist. And they will have a foothold. And the excitement that the Democrats have towards Abdul is insane. Now, I want to play some audio of him. This is just insane. Any one of these would stop in a normal campaign. If this were a Republican, they'd be done. So here's Abdul in the gym. Yes, in the gym, because he's a tough guy working out and all that stuff with a very tight shirt on. And then he confesses something.
Like you think about...
hold on, let me cue it up. I got to cue it up. And if this were any Republican, they would be out. And you know what? The ones calling for them to be out would probably be Republicans. All right, here's the confession of Abdul.
Like you think about if you're on Instagram, my team has access to my Instagram account. And like the things that I actually look at on Instagram, right? Of course, we get served that on your For You page. But then like every third video that scrolls on its own is going to be some OnlyFans model. And it's because it clocked me as being a 40-some-year-old man.
Okay. No, he's not being served OnlyFans models on his Instagram because he's a 40-year-old man. You get served things on your Instagram based on what you're looking at online and what your conversations are, because our phones listen. Like on my Instagram, you know what I get fed constantly? Audio equipment. There's a new microphone out that you can broadcast in stereo instantly on YouTube, no matter and any other platform, no matter where you are, and it's like $400. And I've been getting for weeks. That's what I'm getting because my interests are audio and video and podcasting, radio, and things like that. Sometimes because we have our MAGA cruise every year. Which, by the way, if you'd like to join the next MAGA cruise, there's a link. There's the number to call. Our travel agent is in the description of the episode. But because sometimes I'm involved in conversations about the cruise or talking about it on the air, I get ads from Celebrity Cruise Line, which is where we take our MAGA cruises on. If you're getting OnlyFans how often did he say is it?
Like you think about if you're on Instagram, my team has access to my Instagram account. And like the things that I actually look at on Instagram, right? Of course, we get served that on your For You page. But then like every third video that scrolls on its own is going to be some OnlyFans model.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Every third video he's getting is an OnlyFans model. Every third video I get is a microphone. Okay. So, that means that Ahmed here is scrolling porn, is what that means. But you notice how he dropped in there? Well, my staff have access to my social media. So, is he trying to blame his staff for this? And by the way, what does Islam say about people that are watching pornography? Does anyone know? I'd like to know. But if this were any Republican, that'd be it. They would be done. And you know what? They would be done yesterday. And now the polls show that Abdul here is going to lose. Let's hope. Okay, let's hope. But when you get to these elections, you never know. And the question about some of these races, like the Michigan Senate race, now keep in mind the Democrats spent $65 million trying to defeat him, and they lost, okay, to the Democrat Socialist. They should have just declared you're not a Democrat, you're a Democrat Socialist, and you can't run in our party, right? You can't run in, you can't be a libertarian, a member of the Libertarian Party, and run as a Republican. You've got to be a Republican. He is a Democrat Socialist. I don't know why they didn't do that. But anyway, they spent $65 million and lost, right? So I know it's nuts. So that tells me, though, that the Democrat establishment don't want him to win. So here's a question. Will they pull out the Democrat machine? Right? That Democrat Party machine that does all kinds of magical things on election days. Will they do that? And by the way, the Democrat machine involves a lot of things, but will they do that? Or are there so many Muslims in the state of Michigan that even if they don't do anything, the Democrats with the machine, that he could still win? Here's another clip. Abdul.
What do you think is going through Usha's head when he talks?
Okay, now Usha, of course, I mean, this really shows you. First, he's talking about how he's getting all these OnlyFans pornography. And I will say this, OnlyFans should be outlawed. Many of the women that are OnlyFans models are sex slaves. You hear these stories all the time of how they've got husbands, boyfriends, pimp daddies that make them stay on for like 18 to 20 hours a day because they're making so much money. So OnlyFans in large part is sex slavery. Okay, so that's the first, and he didn't condemn it. He's just saying, it's popping up on my feed. Now he's talking about the second lady of the United States, who very likely will be the second MAGA first lady, Una Vance.
What do you think is going through Usha's head when he talks? She's like, damn, I have to sleep with him. I mean, like, I guess she's pregnant, so I guess something's happening. But like, yeah, like you got to imagine, like, truly zero charisma. Like Usha, like, get out, okay? What do you?
Wow. I mean, and what you're hearing here is his racism. I tell you the thing, they've got this whole thing going on where they think Usha is some type of indentured servant, that she's not a strong enough person to be with him. And they also assume, and this is one of the things these Democrats assume quite often. They've been talking about this for a while. This is what it is. They hate white people. Okay, they do. So they don't understand why a non-white woman is with this white man, J.D. Vance. So they assume that she hates him as much as they hate white people, and they just can't understand it. They just can't understand it. Because remember, the Democrat Socialists of America have openly opposed interracial relationships, just like the Democrats did back in the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, okay? So, you know, and with him finding him being served porn, you know, I'm wondering if he made that video that he's being served porn because somebody on his staff saw it on his Instagram when they had access to his phone. But you know, the way that Instagram works, and you guys know this, it does two things. One, it monitors what you say because your phone listens to you. So if you're talking about things, you'll have it there. Or if you're, but it also monitors what you're looking at online through your phone. So he's obviously watching porn or maybe OnlyFans models. And if you know the Republican Party, if anybody's listening up at Mar-a-Lago, you know the Republican Party. What I would do if I were Mike Rogers, you know what I would do, and don't wait till the end, man. Okay, don't wait till the end. You know, the Nazi Graham Plattner, he won the primary and he got exposed. I would bring on a top expert in social media, who like Elon Musk, and ask Elon Musk to bring on his top algorithm engineers to explain how the algorithm of Instagram works and how someone is served OnlyFans ads every third or fourth ad on their Instagram feed. That would be incredibly powerful. And I'm sure that Elon Musk would gladly do that. You know, when you have, and exact, wouldn't that be beautiful? Yeah, that's just what you want in the Senate, right? Somebody like that. Here we go.
I want to speak specifically
Abdul.
to an issue that has been focused on in this race. To my Jewish American sisters and brothers, one of the most indelible memories.
Okay, now keep in mind, if you're a Jew, you're his sister, you're his brother, but he believes that the Jewish state should not exist. So, you know, the reason there's a Jewish state, of course, is because, you know, it's a response to the Holocaust. You guys know that. You know, no country would take in the Jews when the Nazis came. So Israel was established in 1948 after the Holocaust, after the war. So if you believe that the Jewish state does not have a right to exist and should be wiped out, how can you say the Jews are your brothers and sisters? Seems to be a bit of a conflict with that.
I want to speak specifically to an issue that has been focused on in this race. To my Jewish American sisters and brothers, one of the most indelible memories of this campaign will have been the opportunity to break bread with you at Seder.
Oh, my goodness. You know, there's a lot of people, you know, a lot of the Gen Z, millennial, democratic, socialist, communist, they're very anti-Semitic. They don't understand. You know, sadly in America, most Jews are liberal Democrats. And they're not religious because they're liberal Democrats. They're really kind of atheists, the people that are driving around with the coexist bumper stickers on the back of their car, you know. And being Jewish is not a religious thing to them. It's kind of like an ethnicity. I use this example a lot, and I've used this example talking to Jews who are friends of mine, and they agree with this. To liberal Jews, being a Jew is like an Italian who you know, talks about being Italian. You know, they like the, you know, they like the Italian food. You know, they like Christopher Columbus. They like a little bit of pizza and all that. They're Italian. That's how liberal Jews are, right? It's not a religious thing. And if you look through the history of the Middle Eastern conflicts with Israel, liberal Democrats, liberal Jews in America, always are siding with the Palestinian terrorist. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was a group of liberal Jews that proudly would break bread with Abdul here.
I want to speak specifically to an issue that has been focused on in this race. To my Jewish American sisters and brothers, one of the most indelible memories of this campaign will have been the opportunity to break bread with you at Seder, to worship with you at Shul, to be embraced by you. And listening to sisters and brothers who said, you know, I want to join this movement because AIPAC doesn't speak for me. Because I understand
See what I mean?
that self-determination for one people does not require the quenching of self-determination for another people. That unless all of us are free, none of us are free. I want to tell you the great gift that you've given me. And to all of my sisters and brothers of the Jewish faith, or any faith at all, or no faith at all, I want you to know that my commitment to your safety, my commitment to Jewish safety.
Well, since when are Jews unsafe in America? I guess when you have Democrat Socialist of America candidates getting elected to office. Jews have been safe in America my whole time. Now they're in fear, according to Abdul here.
Is the same commitment that I have to the safety of my own daughters. Because if there is one question of a political philosophy that ought to animate us all, is what would we build, what would we do if we treated all of our kids like they were all of our kids?
Wow. I mean, this is really scary stuff. So, you know, why are Jews in fear all of a sudden? There's a rise of anti-Semitism, and the rise of anti-Semitism is coming from the Democrat Socialist of America. It's coming from the left. And, you know, this all began with the very corrupt Bernie Sanders. You know, these Democrat Socialists, Abdul, you know, he earns, I don't know what he does for this, but he makes $700,000 a year. Now, I'm not opposed to people making money, but if you're a Democratic Socialist who's obsessed with wealth inequality, what are you doing earning $700,000 a year? And by the way, how much of that money is being spent on OnlyFans, since you're getting served up all these OnlyFans ads constantly on your Instagram? Curious about that. And Bernie Sanders, he's another one. Bernie Sanders is a corrupt public official. He is the father of the modern Democrat Socialist of America communist movement in this country. He's worth several $1 million and owns 5 homes. If you are obsessed with the rich and wealth inequality, what are you doing with millions of dollars in 5 homes? Why does he have so many homes? If he's a person who's concerned about wealth inequality in this country, there seems to be some hypocrisies there. But here he is on CNN, Bernie Sanders, and he's talking about the race last night.
To give you an example, one of the more controversial ones is that Piker has said America deserved 9/11. Are you comfortable with that association?
No, I am not. I think that's a dumb statement. On the other hand, he has a whole lot of followers, and there's a lot of things that he's saying that are making sense to a lot of people.
Okay, do you hear that part? See, this is, on the other hand, he's got a lot of followers. See, this is how Democrats, this is how liberals operate. They don't care about, remember the late, great Rush Limbaugh. What did he say was the one thing Democrats care about? Rush Limbaugh said it probably every one of his programs. Democrats only care about, it's a one word, power, and whatever they have to do to get that power. And what Bernie Sanders said, yeah, Hasan Piker, he hates America, says we deserve 9/11. Think about what a disgusting statement that is. Those poor people who jumped out of the World Trade Center. They were above the crash site. They didn't just jump out. They were in rooms filled with fire, and the human instinct compelled them to do it. Or Beamer and all the heroes of Flight 93 who made the choice to bring the plane down to stop it from hitting a building somewhere in Washington, and all the rest that died on that day. The firefighters and policemen that ran into the building that everyone else was running out of, and a lot of them didn't make it out. All these sacrifices. Yeah, he supports their murders, but hey, you know, he's got a lot of followers, and what kind of psychotic person says something like that? A liberal, and this is how they operate. This happened. I saw this happen with the Democrat Party years ago here in Florida. This was after 9/11 as well, and the local Democrat Party, they did this. They had this big get together where they invited all the Muslim leaders to this Democrat get together. They interviewed one of the Democrat Party top leaders in the newspaper, and he says, "Yeah, this is a great new demo. They got a lot of voters for us." So the fact that Hasan Piker believes that the 3,000 Americans, that attack was the worst attack and deadliest attack in American history. An attack where we lost more lives than at Pearl Harbor. Think about that. We lost more Americans on 9/11 than we did at Pearl Harbor. And at least Pearl Harbor was a military target. 9/11 was a 100% civilian target, which is what made it an act of terrorism. So Bernie Sanders is saying, yeah, Hasan Piker supports the act of terrorism known as 9/11, where 3,000 Americans were murdered. But he's got a lot of followers on social media. He can get the word out about us. Bernie Sanders is not just a traitor to the United States with this idiotic statement. Bernie Sanders is a traitor to humanity.
To give you an example, one of the more controversial ones is that Piker has said America deserved 9/11. Are you comfortable with that association?
No, I am not. I think that's a dumb statement. On the other hand, he has a whole lot of followers, and there's a lot of things that he's saying that are making sense to a lot of people. I think, we have to get above cancel culture.
We got to get a bunch of cancel culture. Yeah, if you think we deserve 9/11, that's okay. If you have a certain number of followers on social media now.
Now, when you're doing radio, whatever they do, podcasts 3 hours a day, you say dumb things. I suspect if you go back over
Really, I'm on the air 3, 4, 5 hours a day. Do I say dumb things? When's the last time?
Your career, there may be one or two things that you said that you may have regretted. But I think what we have got to do is look at the totality of where people are coming from and go forward.
So when someone like James Carville says he doesn't want to be in the same political party as Hasan Piker, which one are you going to take?
Well, that's not much of a choice. If Mr. Carville doesn't want to be in my party, the party that I belong to, that Piker, that Sayed belongs to, he can start his own party. But I think we need a big tent, and I think people like Piker should be welcome into that.
Yeah, we need a big tent. People that say we deserve 9/11, the tent's big. Come on in. If you have enough social media followers. We do have some standards. These are monsters. These are sick, twisted monsters. Make no mistake about it. If you're on hold, stand by. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat on YouTube, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. When we get back, I'll take some calls. I've got a lot more to share as well. All right? Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. I'm in the Jupiter Joe radio studio with Jupiter Joe. Joe, a lot of people I know are wondering, can I retire? Am I too young to retire? Do I have enough money or even income to retire? And I'm sure you hear that a lot from people.
Those are probably the three biggest questions we get from clients. Can I retire? Do I have enough money? Am I too young? Am I too old? All the gamut. And here's what I'll tell you. It's all a numbers game. If you got the numbers, we can do it. That means how much money do you have and how much income can we give you? It's that simple.
I think the biggest mistake people can make is assuming that they don't have enough money to retire.
I have people that actually call and apologize to me because they don't want to give me their numbers. They'll say, I don't have a lot. And it doesn't matter what your number is. It's just making sure you can make that work for you.
Well, that's what's great about annuities, because with an annuity, you're guaranteed an income stream every month for the rest of your life. How does that work?
So it's this simple. You put in a lump sum of money, and you'll know exactly to the penny how much money you're going to get per month. Just like Social Security. Ask anybody how much their Social Security is going to be, and they'll know to the penny. Well, guess what? An annuity works exactly the same way.
Don't make the mistake of trying to plan your retirement by yourself. Call Joe Thomas, schedule your no-charge consultation, and after that consultation, Joe Thomas is going to put together a custom proposal just for you based on your situation, your goals, and where you want to be. Give him a call. The number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999 and online, jupiterjoe.com. What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now. Yeah, guys, the link to that Bible study is in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're listening on. Click the link, check it out. Okay, if you're on hold, stand by. So, back to this. This is last night. Joy Reid, she's all excited, and you notice she's got a receded hairline. Look at the top of that. Look at that. Yeah, she's got. Why is her hair receding? What is this? She's got like Uncle Grady hair there. All right, listen to this. This is last night, and this tells you how Abdul, how much these people are infatuated with him.
Let me tell you right now, Abdul El Sayed is now the projected winner. Yep, he just said it when we said it. He's the projected winner. There's not enough left. That's it. That's it. No, yes, it's done. He is the projected winner. NBC News Online is saying it. I'm sure we don't have to turn him up. It's done. That's it. We're done. Okay, so yes, so it is now official. Steve Kornacki has said it. We've said it here. You guys got to watch it happen live on air. Abdul El Sayed, it is an unbeatable race. And let me tell you how it happened in the end. You can say what you want about the voters of Wayne County, Michigan, which it obviously includes Dearborn, which is about 8 to 9% of the total, but it is the big vote is Detroit. And Haley Stevens needed to crush Abdul El Sayed in Wayne County in Detroit. She did not. She won Detroit. She won the Detroit suburbs. She won all the Detroit suburbs. I'm going through each of them. Oakland County, Macomb County, Wayne County. She won all the Detroit suburbs. Monroe County. She won all those little suburbs. She even won a few of the exurbs, but not by enough. In the end, what Waj was talking about, that 4-point victory, Waj, it's now 51-46. That is her margin in Wayne County. That's not even close to the margin that she would have needed. And this is the equivalent, Waj, of Barack Obama winning North Carolina in 2008. This is a earthquake. This is an earthquake that just toppled the $60 million AIPAC queen.
Yeah, $65 million the Democrats spent. So she's comparing this. It wasn't AIPAC, by the way. It was the Democrat Party. She's comparing this primary in Michigan to Barack Obama winning the primary in a national election. And one of the things with Abdul, he was born in Michigan. He's a natural-born U.S. citizen. They are very, very, very excited, the anti-American crowd, like her. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's James in Tennessee. Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean.
Well, just a few short years ago, Bernie Sanders, was running for president, and it just shows the testament of how much of a fake this man was. He is, because when he took the knee right down to the establishment as soon as he, couldn't beat them.
Yeah.
And his convictions went right out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is a multimillionaire now who is trying to preach about inequality of income and all kinds of, the rich this, the rich that, and we just have to see what a phony and what a con man this man really is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, does he have any real conviction or any real belief?
Bernie Sanders' real conviction, I think, is maybe getting to 6,000 more millions on top of the millions he already has. Hey, listen, I got a lot to get through, but I do appreciate the call. You make some good points. Okay, now, last night, they're doing some analysis on this. Of course, that was last night with Joy Reid. This is Fox, and this is Ronna McDaniel, and they're talking about what this means, Abdul winning Michigan.
Ronna, what does this victory mean? Not in a blue dot district in New York City, but in a purple state of Michigan.
Oh, I think this is going to energize Republicans. Republicans who have been dormant a lot in the past few midterms, have sat out midterms, have not paid attention to the midterms, and suddenly they are awake and aware of the threat of the most dangerous ticket that Democrats have ever put forward. Not just with Syed. They have an attorney general nominee, a Soros-backed attorney general nominee named Ellie Savitt. Their Supreme Court nominees are radical. They are running on things like putting violent criminals back on the street. They have put violent criminals back on the street. So the ticket up and down on the Democrat side is very dangerous. And I think this might be the shot on the arm Republicans need to engage in a midterm where we haven't been engaging in the past 2 cycles.
Okay. Yeah, in midterms, I'm glad she says this because, one thing about the MAGA movement led by the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, is, Donald Trump, he's always in a positive head. No matter what happens, he's got a positive way to take things. And that's what winners do. So, yeah, this is an opportunity to wake up people that may not vote in the midterms normally who said, wait a minute, we can't have this Ahmed in the United States Senate. And I think she makes a lot of sense there.
Okay, Ron, I should have mentioned you're from Michigan, so you know the state very well.
Yeah.
Ronna, think about this right now in the battle for the Senate, okay?
By the way, Ahmed, he gets the porn, the OnlyFans. The ads I've got here on my Instagram, a Publix ad, an ad about podcasting, a card show, because my daughter likes, she collects Pokemon cards, and sometimes I go to the card shows with my daughter on the weekends. So I got an ad here for a card show in Fort Lauderdale in September. No OnlyFans coming up, even though I've been talking about it with this guy on the show the last 20, 30 minutes. That's right, yeah. Here's another microphone ad. Here's an ad to rent a podcast studio, because I'm into podcasting, so they're trying to rent me a podcast studio. I got my own studio here. Thank you very much. Don't need to rent any podcast studio. So that's what I'm getting in my Instagram feed. No pornography like Ahmed. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we've been using this in our power rankings for some time. Keep in mind, Democrats right now, they need to flip 4 seats that Republicans currently hold. But one of the seats that was leaning Democrat was Michigan. Mm-hmm. And how do you look at that right now? If this is considered maybe a toss-up or even a lean toward Republicans, that makes this challenge in Alaska, Iowa, Maine, and Ohio.
Alaska you can't count on. They got that ranked choice voting, which is just ridiculous.
So much more difficult. But just take the Michigan case right now. If Mike Rogers were to take that seat from the Democrats, they need to go elsewhere in order to take control of the Senate. It seems at the moment that it's a much more difficult climb. How do you see it?
I absolutely agree. I mean, Chuck Schumer and the Democrat establishment, they were all in for Haley Stevens. She spent $60 million on TV. Syed spent $6 million on TV. And they wanted her to be their nominee.
See? So the DNC spent $60 million on television ads alone to try to defeat him. So that tells me they're not going to pull out the machine. And you've got to run, what's he running on? I'm a Muslim and I hate Jews and Israel shouldn't exist and AIPAC shouldn't exist. Is that something to run on? Now, I pulled this out because I wanted you to look at this. This is a reporter asking Schumer about the Democrat Socialist of America. And to me, these guys, all of the Democrats look terrified of them.
And Manu.
Thank you. Is the rise of the DSA good for your party?
Look, we are a big tent party.
They all say the same thing. We're a big tent party. No matter what, that's their answer.
Thank you. Is the rise of the DSA good for your party?
Look, we are a big tent party. And being a Big Tent party is a strength, not a weakness.
So he said nothing, and he's got that vacuous answer. My goodness. My goodness. And you know, think about it. He's Jewish. That's what I was talking about earlier with Abed. He's Jewish, and he won't condemn the guy that says that AIPAC and Israel have no right to exist. And so far as AIPAC, you know, this is, you know, the Jewish lobby, right, in this country. There's all kinds of lobbying groups. This is the only one I've ever heard the left say should not exist. Now, I've heard them criticize, like they'll criticize the NRA, but I've never heard them say another one should not exist. So if the Jewish lobby shouldn't exist, and they were successful in outlawing that, are they gonna make a move next so the Jews can't exist? It sounds that way to me if you're not supporting Israel. All right, let's go. Here's the star of the show, El Sayed.
I want you to remind them that if we come through this, when we come through this, inshallah.
This inshallah, you know, which means God willing. So here he is speaking Arabic in his victory speech.
I want you to remind them that if we come through this, when we come through this, inshallah.
Hear the crowd go nuts? I mean, I didn't know what that word was until this morning, and when I heard that he said it, I had to look it up online to find out what it meant. But everyone there, they knew exactly what it meant. Huh? Yeah, they did. Here's Fetterman. I didn't recognize him at first because he's wearing a suit. Okay, here's Fetterman.
Congresswoman Haley Stevens, who just lost this Democratic primary in Michigan, echoed calls across the Democratic Party for unity heading into the fall. Are you willing to unify with Abdul El-Sayed, for example, who's now the Democratic nominee, the Democratic?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Do you want? Are you going to unify with Abdul, who believes that Israel and Jews shouldn't exist? What kind of question is that, Will Blitzer?
Congresswoman Haley Stevens, who just lost this Democratic primary in Michigan, echoed calls across the Democratic Party for unity heading into the fall. Are you willing to unify with Abdul El-Sayed, for example, who's now the Democratic nominee, the Democratic candidate?
Oh, well, yeah, the tough guy. He called me ugly and then I should be on a pike. And I'm like, Chief, I own mirrors. I know I'm an ugly guy. But if you want to put me on a pike, I mean, he has like a little man syndrome kind of energy. And now he was really arrogant in that race. And now he have just found out that, less than a majority of Democrats want him. And he has a serious responsibility between now and November to hold that seat.
So you think he could lose to Mike Rogers?
Oh, 100% that's possible, without a doubt. I mean, the polling seems to indicate that it is in danger.
Yeah, and I promise you that President Trump is going to be keeping a close eye on what happens during early voting and election day and election night in Michigan, and that's important to do. All right, and we'll get back. Here's a little bit more with Fetterman on CNN. It's interesting. He's wearing suits a lot more. I think he's trying to transition from the basketball clothes to suits like a real senator.
Georgia, in Texas, we have great ones. But, I have a real problem with people that are proud to campaign people that loved Hamas or that they love communist kinds of regime. And
yeah, they love terrorist and communist.
Under those kinds of policies. Overall, and that's why I'm saying objectively as a Democrat in the Senate saying that puts that seat in danger, and now that could and now people like Sanders, after what he's done in Maine with Plattner, and now it's like it's creating more kinds of chaos, and now it's like will you own the blowback and making it much more difficult to defend this seat.
It's so crazy that the most reasonable person in the Democrat Party is John Fetterman. I mean, here's a guy who was brain damaged. He had brain surgery. He seemed like, and when he ran for Senate, he seemed like a radical lunatic. And the people that are running now, these Democrat Socialists of America, are so whacked out and nuts that they make someone who's brain damaged, who's pretty left-wing himself, sound rational. That's how far it goes. If you're new to the program, welcome. Make sure you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. And guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please do me the favor of liking the video. When you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. All right? We'll take a quick break and be right back.
Hi, Tom Laporta here. We are Laporta Roofing, a family business since 1983. You are our customer. In other words, our boss. We are here for and because of you, not the other way around. The 2026 rainy season is upon us. Because we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, all the storm chaser roofing companies have gone out of business, leaving only the strongest and the best contractors. At Laporta Roofing, we will never sell you a roof you don't need. We don't have salesmen or commissions, so we will never pressure you to sign a contract. Also, deposits are not required. At Laporta Roofing, you will always come first. We must earn your trust, and we will. So call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, or on the web at laportaroofing.com.
What if your expertise could help your customers around the clock, even when you're sleeping? You could do just that with Twin. That's TWIIN. Twin is an AI-powered platform that transforms your knowledge into a smart assistant that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whether you're a business owner, Airbnb host, consultant, coach, creator, real estate professional, or technical expert, Twin learns from your expertise to provide instant, personalized answers through a simple QR code or direct link. Imagine your customer scanning a product and receiving expert advice instantly. Guests at your vacation rental can find house rules, local recommendations, and troubleshooting tips without sending you a message. And your clients get the answers they need exactly when they need them. There's no coding, no complicated setup, and no tech experience needed. Just upload the files you already have, and your Twin is ready to work, representing your business with the same knowledge, professionalism, and consistency every time. Your knowledge remains private, fully encrypted, and never used to train public AI models. There's only one you until now. Multiply your time, scale your expertise, be available everywhere. Visit hellotwin.com right now. That's Twin, spelled TWIIN, and discover how your AI-powered twin can help your business work smarter 24/7. hellotwin.com. Are you looking for a simple way to bring more wellness? If you're a business, what if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now. All right, we're back. And of course, I'm covering Abdul here, the Democrat. Look at this. These are his supporters. This guy behind him, what is he, a sweat hog all grown up? I mean, who wears hats like this? This guy that's behind him. He got a guy behind him, white guy with his with a ponytail. All right.
Well, I'd love to get others' perspective on this, but let me give you mine. You heard about the historic turnout. Sometimes, intra-family squabbles are the biggest ones. But we all know that when we walk out the house, we stand united. And sometimes we got to have it out about the conversation about who we are and who we want to be. And I think I'll tell you that the things that unite us are so much bigger than the things that divide us.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's brilliant. A little poetry there. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Trying to sound reasonable with that hippie behind him. You know, where this guy has been and where he has come from, it's pretty scary stuff. But some information has been coming out. Now, see, now that the primary is over, there's going to be a big focus. And look at this. Look at this. Fox News is reporting more than $115,000 came from 41 current or former CARE officials and leaders, Council of American Islamic Relations. And you guys forget CARE maybe, but they are, there's some bad dudes, okay? CARE are some of the worst in the Muslim population in this country, okay? In fact, we had a spokesperson on the radio from CARE about a week after 9/11. And the things that he was saying, this was about a week or so after 9/11, and things were pretty hot, you know, after 9/11. People were scared. We didn't know what was going on. He was saying things that were so outrageous, we had to end the show early. He said that no Jews died on 9/11. They all got out of the towers before the planes hit. And that the Israelis, this is what he said. This is a guy from CARE we had on the show. He said that the Israelis were remote controls were controlling the airplanes that crashed into the buildings. Can you believe that? Isn't that something? I know it's pretty frightening. Well, that's who the Democrats have running now, and that's the world we're in these days. But I'll tell you, now that the primary's over and we're going towards the general election, this guy's gotten to such a large degree a free ride, and the free ride will be over because this race is so important and this election is so important, and the Republicans are not going to let this guy just swoop in and become a United States senator. It's just not going to be allowed. So the truth about this guy is going to come out. I promise you. Now, the New York Post has a lot of information. Now, if you were listening to me on the morning show, there was an assassination attempt against President Trump in California. This guy is a bad guy. We now know a little bit more about him. He's a decorated veteran who's done multiple combat tours. He's a Marine who completed combat deployments to both Iraq and Afghanistan. He served in the Marine Corps from 2008 to 2016, reaching the rank of corporal. You know, that's interesting. Now, 8 years, corporal's an E4, corporal. Now, I know the Marines don't promote as fast as other branches, I hear, but is corporal kind of a low rank to be in the Marines for 8 years? Those of you out there that are Marines, let me know. He served in the Marine Corps from 2008 to 2016, reaching the rank of corporal, while assigned as a warehouse clerk with the elite 1st Reconnaissance Battalion at Camp Pendleton. He deployed to Iraq. He deployed to Afghanistan. And, you know, when you, and here's a picture of him, and I guess that's his driver's license picture, and this is him, you know, on Instagram. This guy, everything about this guy's operation, to me, sounds like a professional job that was being put in place. And I'll give you if you want to know all the details in extreme detail, check out my morning show where I went through all the details in a lot of detail. But I'll give you the Reader's Digest capsulized version now. Okay. He went to the Trump golf. President Trump was at his California golf course resort yesterday for a fundraiser. Okay, he went there on Friday. This attempted assassin, who's in custody, he went to the golf course on Friday and was taking photographs and making videos. He came back on Saturday and was doing the same thing, and he had an earpiece in. Some of the workers at Trump's golf course got a little nervous about who this guy was. They called the sheriff. The deputies came, and they got the FBI involved because they were already there doing advance work for the president's visit. He told the deputies and the federal agents that he was a federal agent, that he worked with the State Department Security Service. Can you imagine? He had ammunition in his pocket. He had a loaded pistol with one in the chamber in his car, and he also had a fake badge plus the earpiece. They served a warrant to his house, and they found an AR-15 style rifle that had no serial numbers on it. It had never been registered anywhere. I don't mean the serial numbers were etched off or they used acid or he had to try to file them off. There were no serial numbers on it, which I've never heard of before. And now we find out that he's kind of an unsuccessful Marine, only reaching E4, rank of corporal, after 8 years in the Marine Corps. Yes, and he does have a girl's name, Janine. This sounds like a professional assassination hit attempt. Do you guys agree with that? Especially when you find out, his background, on top of everything that he was doing at the golf course. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Mark from sunny Michigan.
Hey, Mark in Michigan.
How you doing, buddy?
Did you vote for Abdul?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Come on.
I did.
You really? You're pulling my leg. Did you really vote?
I know.
You're joking.
We disagree on politics.
Well, wait a minute. No, you're serious? You voted for him?
Yeah.
Why?
What's wrong with Abdul?
Well, why'd you vote for him?
Well, I voted for him because he was the anti-AIPAC candidate.
What does that mean? He hates Jews?
No, that's not what being anti-AIPAC is about. Buddy.
Tell me being anti, how that's a positive.
Okay, so being anti-AIPAC means you do not want money in your politics that serves the interests of a foreign government.
Well, wait a minute. He took donations from the Council of American Islamic Relations. That's a pro Hamas Hezbollah organization.
That is false. That is
no, it's not. You can put your hands over your ears and pretend it's not true, but it's true.
He's not serving the interests of a foreign government.
How old are you? I wouldn't be so sure about that. How old are you? Sure he is. He's serving the purposes of...
What happens when you take AIPAC money means that
you said, excuse me, you said that he's not doing work for a foreign government. He is. What he's doing is helping Iran.
What are you talking about, buddy? It's just you're nonsensical.
He agrees with Iran that Israel has no right to exist. Do you?
What are you talking about, dude?
Well, that's when you oppose AIPAC. AIPAC is the Jewish lobby, right? And their number one purpose is advocating Israel's right to exist. Abdul here doesn't think Israel should exist.
No, that is categorically false.
How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 53 years old, so if you will give me a chance to respond. Can you give me a chance to respond, man?
Go ahead.
Okay, well, so when you describe AIPAC as some organization that protects the right for the state of Israel to exist, it is actually categorically false, and I'll tell you why. They really exist to flood money into our politics, to get Congress completely on sides with Israel's expansionist policies. And,
expansionist? Where are they expanding? Where's Israel expanding?
They're expanding in Lebanon, in Palestine.
No, they pulled out of Lebanon. There's no Palestine doesn't exist. There's no such place. That's a mythical. That's a mythical land. Palestine is a mythical land.
The Golan Heights does not exist.
Palestine does not exist. It's a mythical land. So you told me you're 53. You told me you're 53. So you and I are about the same age. Where were you when you saw 9/11 happened? When you heard about 9/11, where were you?
Right here in Michigan, sir.
Doing what?
Where were you?
I was on the air, covering it live on the radio. What were you doing? Where'd you watch it? Who were you with?
I was at work, and I left work early. I kept up with it on.
You left work
on
early?
Radio.
What time did you leave work?
I mean, probably midday, around 12 or 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm. So many hours after 9/11.
Well, when I got a call from my kid's school, when I had to pick them up, I went and picked them up.
You went and picked them up. Why'd
So
you? Why? Yeah. So interesting. So the kids. No, this.
You're veering off topic.
It's
We're
my
talking
show.
about
I
AIPAC.
decide that we are talking about AIPAC. It's just beyond your ability.
Okay, so let's talk about AIPAC,
so
buddy.
your kid's school, your child's school, let out early on 9/11.
Yeah.
Why?
They did.
Why?
They told us to pick up our kids early.
Why? Why do you think they did that?
Because we didn't know what was going on in the country. We didn't know if there were going to be
what happened on 9/11? Who attacked us?
Well, our allies, Saudi Arabia and the UAE.
No.
See, you're already interrupting me, man. Let's have a respectful conversation and let me answer your question.
Saudi
and we
Arabia
can have
didn't attack
a
it.
dialogue.
A dialect?
Yes, they
did.
did.
You want to have a dialect? Okay.
There were over 14 terrorists. They were predominantly Saudi Arabian and from the Emirates.
And because some of them were Saudi, that means Saudi Arabia did it. Well, that's interesting.
Well,
hold on a second here. All
That's
19.
That's the thing.
Okay, hold on. All 19 were Muslim. Does
Okay.
that mean, since all 19 were Muslim, does that mean Muslims were responsible for 9/11?
Sure. No, that
Wait a
that
minute.
is like saying
14,
when the
17 of the 19 were from Saudi Arabia. So you say Saudi Arabia is responsible. All 19 were Muslim. So why aren't all Muslims responsible?
Saudi Arabia was funding Osama bin Laden.
But if they were
were
all
funding him for years,
if they were all
and
Muslim,
Osama bin Laden did the 9/11.
If they were all Muslim, why aren't Muslims at all responsible? If Saudi Arabia is responsible because some of them were Saudi citizens. Yeah, I know. The talking points don't hold up.
That's the thing. Saudi Arabia was indirectly responsible in my book, and that might be too radical of a position, but I truly, genuinely believe if you're funding Osama bin Laden with millions, and I mean millions, you want to talk about pallets full of cash? They were sending pallets full of cash to Afghanistan, and that is not something I can respect. And what I also can respect is our foreign policy.
So on Monday, Ahmed had a party and of influencers, and his the leading influencer celebrity at Ahmed's party in Michigan Monday was Hasan Piker.
His name is Abdul.
Abdul.
His name is Abdul.
Whatever. Assalamu alaikum. I can't remember all these Muslim names. But the number one.
Hey, Brian, are you Islamophobic?
No.
Do you hate Muslims?
No.
Okay, well,
No.
I don't hate Muslims or Jews.
Okay, all right.
And,
We didn't say we did. But the honored guest, the lead guest at his party on Monday was Hasan Piker, who said that the United States deserved 9/11. Do you think the United States deserved 9/11?
No, I do not. But when somebody walks back their statements from 10 years ago and says and explains why he said that, it makes a little bit more sense.
Well, really?
He said
Oh,
that
I
because
missed the. Explain it to me then. What does that mean?
Hasan Piker came out. So Hasan Piker came out and apologized for those statements.
Because he got caught?
And once what?
Because he got caught?
No, not because he got caught. Because it was made an essential part of a smear campaign.
Okay. No, he said it on his show. He said America deserved 9/11.
I'm not denying that. I'm explaining to you why he said that.
So
he said
why does
policy-
Abdul hang around with people who say America deserved 9/11 and have parties for him?
He said that 10 years. Okay, well, our president said he grabs women by the pussy.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say
so
that.
that's false.
He didn't say that.
You heard it on a recording, and you're still claiming
I
it's
heard
false.
it, and he didn't say it. He didn't say that.
Oh, was it AI?
No. You just didn't.
Okay,
no.
so he did say it.
Nope,
So
he
all
did
I'm
not say
saying
it.
is,
He did not say it.
you have to be a man of principle, Brian. You're
yeah.
better than that, buddy. You're from Columbus, Ohio.
That's right.
I expect better from you.
Oh.
I expect better from you.
Well, then, you know.
Ohioans, we treasure honesty and being a decent man.
Wait a minute. You said you're from Michigan. You said you're from Michigan. Now you're from Ohio?
Yeah, I was originally born in Ohio. Yes.
Yeah, but
I live in Michigan, though.
You know, tell me about Ohio and Michigan. There's a relationship.
Oh yeah, but Michigan's called the nasty state up north. And,
No. There's an
talking about the rivalry?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Buckeyes versus the Wolverines.
There you go.
I'm a Buckeye.
There
in
you go.
Michigan.
There you go. Okay. So now you're from
And I
Ohio.
want you to represent Ohio with
I
decency
represent the United States, okay, and Americans. Hey, listen, call me again sometime, okay? Take care. Oh my goodness. Now, I want to. This is from CNN. You hear the anger? You know, that's what supports these. Yeah, total nutbag. You hear the rage in that guy's voice? That's your average Democrat socialist right there. Just in a total rage, like Antifa. All right, here's a little bit of analysis on what happened in Michigan from CNN.
In your navy blue, you've got Haley Stevens. In your Columbia blue, you've got Abdul Sayed. And what you see here is you see that Haley Stevens did particularly well in this corridor. And what's in this corridor? Well, there are a lot of working class voters and a lot of African American voters. Abdul Sayed did very poorly amongst these groups in the primary.
Wow, did you hear that? Let's rewind that. This is amazing.
Did particularly well in this corridor. And what's in this corridor? Well, there are a lot of working class voters and a lot of African American voters. Abdul Sayed did very poorly amongst these groups in the primary. It's going to be very interesting to see whether or not he can bring them into the tent come the general election, bring those swing voters with them, because where Abdul Sayed did well, to be honest with you, we're really just college towns. That's where he really ran up the score. This is Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor's in this county, and Ann Arbor, of course, is the University of Michigan. We zone out a little bit. Another place he did particularly well was Lansing. Again, we're talking 20-plus point margins. You can't just win college towns if you're going to win in a general election. So
that's CNN. That's liberal CNN. You can't win the general election if you just win college towns. That's right. And you can't win as a Democrat if you've lost the blacks. And he's lost the blacks. Oh, this is great. That's some good news right there, isn't it? It's amazing. You know, to get some reasonable thought on this, you have to go to Fetterman. You have to go to CNN. Now, this is Ted Cruz in this Senate hearing today about the Muslim Brotherhood. And Ted Cruz, you know, if there's a Supreme Court opening next, wouldn't it be cool if President Trump put Ted Cruz on the Supreme Court? Would you guys like that? Here's Ted Cruz. This is the Muslim Brotherhood Senate hearing today.
Does the Muslim Brotherhood also partner with political groups such as the Democratic Socialist of America?
Yes, sir, they do.
Wow. Do you hear that? Michigan, Ohio, whichever state you're in at this particular moment. State of confusion, it sounded like me. State of insanity. But the Democrat Socialist of America are partnered with the Muslim Brotherhood. That's a foreign terrorist organization.
Does the Muslim Brotherhood also partner with political groups such as the Democratic Socialist of America?
Yes, sir, they do.
There you go. There you go. Right there. Mm-hmm. Which is more dangerous, AIPAC or the Muslim Brotherhood? Would you rather be on a plane filled with people from AIPAC or a plane filled with people from the Muslim Brotherhood? Which plane would you rather fly on? With a non-DEI pilot. If you'd like to support my content, become a Patreon supporter. You know, there's a link in the description to my Patreon page on whatever platform you're listening on. And when you become a Patreon supporter, you got to be a paying Patreon supporter, which starts at just $5 a month. There's an option to join free. If you do that, you don't have access to any of the content you don't even get to see the content. You have to be a paying Patreon supporter. Starts at just $5 a month, and you get access to the exclusive content, which includes my daily Patreon-only live streams. And it's a great community. It's a troll-free zone. No trolls, no liberals allowed. It's a great group, and it's a group much like here on YouTube. All right, it's a live chat. I'm there. We're talking, but there's no trolls, no libs. And I talk about things that I cannot talk about here or anywhere else other than Patreon. And I talk in a great deal about things that you will never hear me talk about here or on the radio or anywhere, because I can't. And it's a place where you really get to hear me talk about a lot of things. And it's a great community of people in that chat room as well. So there's a link to my Patreon page in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're on. Check it out. Become a member. It starts at just $5 a month. And you don't just get access to the new content. You get access to the entire back catalog, which goes back for a long time, for years, because I've been on Patreon for many years. If you become a top Patreon supporter, you get your name up on the screen here on YouTube, and you get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode. So the names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SF Jr., Christine, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, Lizep, Shauna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, Rick, Michael, and Robert R. These are my top Patreon supporters. Again, thanks so much. And become a paying Patreon supporter and join the exclusive Patreon-only live chat on the Patreon platform. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you first thing, bright and early, tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you in the morning.